Hello, and welcome back to the Dungeons & Dragons Podcast UK. My name is Yazmin, and I will be the DM.
Hi, my name's Colin, and I play Cuin de Greymont, a Paladin from Gavany.
Hi, I'm Spencer. I play Cadeaux, Chasseur, a Cleric also from Gavany.
Hi, I'm Brian, and I play Ogvar Surefort, a ranger from Kessig.
Hi, my name is Samantha, and I play Elora Greyvale, a sorcerer from Nephalia.
We pick up our tale after what had been another testing day for the team. An injury to the cute companion, a small forest fire, and finally some much needed light entertainment as Elora bruised her butt cheeks for the second time in one day. With our jar of fireflies safely filed away for a contract completion in Selhoff, the tired travellers slowly descend down towards the River Ospid and some well-earned rest. Episode 55, An Ospid-able Welcome.
Okay, so it's currently about 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock maybe. Travelling down this ton of trees, it's only taken... The carriages have kept on rolling while you've been netting fireflies and shoving them furiously into a jar. And it's taken the carriage about 3 minutes to roll through, so from front of convoy to end of convoy. It's taken about 3 minutes for the carriages roll through.
And how far are we away from Selhoff now?
You're probably about half a day's travel to the river, which is before Selhoff.
So we could have another night out, really.
Depending on...
Well, it's 4 o'clock. It gets dark. It's about 7ish, isn't it?
Who's in the carriage with the boss?
At the front is Ben and Cuin.
Cuin. So you're in with the boss. You probably want to ask him when he wants to make camp.
Yes. Leopold. Leopold, are we gonna make a dash for Selhoff, or do you think it might be wise to make another camp? Because, you know, it does get dark rather quickly around here, and we don't want to catch anything else.
Yeah, I got you, Cuin, I got you. What we'll do is we'll push on a bit longer. It's not that far to the river now. There's a bit of a small kind of trading outpost there just before the river. Got to pay the toll fees to get over. So what we'll do is we'll push on, we'll travel down to there, we can stay overnight down there.
But by the river? Oh, yes. Okay. Lovely. Awesome.
So it's probably going to take another 2 hours to get down towards the river, I'd say. So is there anything you're doing in this time?
We're obviously aware of how hurt Elora is.
She's not visibly hurt. There aren't any kind of visible cuts, bleeding anywhere. It's more she's just kind of probably a bit bruised, a bit battered looking, a bit dusty.
Would Esther notice that?
Yeah, Esther probably would. She'd probably brush you off a bit. You all right there, Elora?
Well, just... I took a bit of a tumble. Just a bit bruised and... Yeah, just... Well, felt a bit better. I'm just slightly battered.
Oh, well, if you'll allow me.
Well, thank you. That would be very, very appreciated, because I am feeling just a little bit rough around the edges.
Okay. So she puts her hand on your shoulder and heals you up for 7 hit points.
Oh, that... Thank you ever so much. That's really appreciated.
Not a problem, dearie. Okay, so is there anything else?
Did the rest of us actually see the fall from the wagon?
Elora's on the back wagon, so probably not, no.
Oh, bugger. Okay, we'll bang all the jokes then. You've been saved by us not looking at you.
Do you know what? Everyone roll me a spot check to see if you did see her falling off the back of the wagon. It's relatively hard DC. I'm going to say
Would
it's
they have
probably
not
you.
just been watching the fireflies?
17.
You definitely saw it.
15 for Ogvar.
You saw it.
13 for Cadeaux.
You didn't see it.
Ah, never mind.
Right. Okay.
I say Ogvar.
Ooh, are we on the same truck?
No,
No.
I'm going to
he's
shout
on,
it.
He's on the one in front of us.
Yeah, I'm going to shout it across.
We're in the middle, are we?
Yeah, you were in the middle.
Okay, in the middle.
Ogvar, did you see old Elora fall off that wagon?
Oh yes, I did see it, and
Hope she's okay.
yes, she looks okay, but it was
Yes.
quite amusing.
Yes, it was a nice bit of acrobatics, I suppose, but, you know,
Did you say she fell off her wagon?
yes.
So
Yes,
that's her and her bat off the wagon then?
yes. Well, I think she was trying to do a dance or something, and fell off the back.
Okay.
Suppose we best check she's alright when we get to the river.
Well, yes.
Are we stopping at the river?
Yes, we're going to be the little, what's it there, the ferry to take us across, and we're going to stop there for the night and then go over first thing in the morning.
Brilliant.
There is a little like shop there. And
Is there a tavern?
Tavern? Well, yeah. I don't remember you saying a tavern. But there was, you said there was a...
Leopold didn't mention anything about a tavern.
No.
Ooh, is there at least any accommodation there for overnight, or are we in the tents?
Yeah, don't know. I only know the old basics, so... But, you know, we've got some nice tents.
Some of us do.
Why, what happened to yours?
Oh, thumb back towards Elora, I think. The old acid splash on the old tent. Bit holy.
I thought that was on mine.
That was on yours.
No, he's saying it's on yours.
I thumb back towards you.
You've got the holy tent, a Swiss cheese tent.
Oh, yes.
So, we've got Ricky and Jeff with us, haven't we?
Yeah, you do have Ricky and Jeff with you.
So, Ricky, is there any talent in this little village we're going to?
Talent?
Yeah, well, you were the one for the ladies when all the stopping points. What's it like in this little next place we're stopping?
Oh, yeah, it's just a little outpost. You got the ferry. They send it across in the morning, in the evening, so on and so forth. But you know, you got a couple of got tarns. These blacksmiths. You know, if you need any quick work done, quick fix on your carriage before you go over. Obviously, get it fixed up properly and sell off. But you know, if you need a patch up on the road, and there's the hey Jeff, what's the name of it? The Wheedling Weasel.
It's a very alliterative world, isn't it? So is this somewhere we get a bite of hot food and a decent pint or something?
Yeah, Wheedling Weasel is you know, relatively cheap outpost. Everyone who's coming and going stays there. You know, noble, peasant, pauper, all of them.
Brilliant.
Get some. It's quite a nice place actually. Quite big actually. Got a little tavern downstairs and rooms upstairs. Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, that'll do me.
There's
Yes, sir.
not much else around there though. Got a couple of guards from Selhoff, a little outpost there, but you know.
Okay, but no other trouble. We're not going to have to find another troll, are we?
No, I haven't heard anything about any more trolls around here. No.
Okay, I had enough trouble with the last one.
Yeah. Never seen a troll. Well.
Terrible.
It wasn't a pleasant experience, was it, Ogvar?
The troll itself is quite an unpleasant thing, and inside its inhabitants, there's a lot of dead matter. It wasn't particularly unpleasant.
Ah.
It was a bit like Cuin's laundry bin on a Friday.
What, would I hear this?
Are you making any attempt to be quiet here?
No, not at
No?
all.
Yeah, you hear this then.
Right, I'll go, got the head here. You can also have a whiff of this.
Oh, mate, that looks manky.
Oh yes. Oh well. Well,
You kept his head.
got to. It's a bit, to prove that we've killed it.
Oh,
Didn't we give it to the
No.
the watch?
We have
we
to
kept
take
it.
it.
We've got to take it to Selhoff.
Oh yeah, of course.
It's in a bag, isn't it?
It's
We
in a
put
bag,
it in a
it's in a
sack.
sack.
We put it in a sack.
Not at the moment, eh? You waving
Yeah,
it
at the
around.
moment you're waving it about.
hey Jeff. That looks like your mum. And they both release this kind of like real dirty kind of chuckle. Jeff doesn't seem particularly offended by this joke, but this real dirty chuckle kind of. Okay. Are you doing anything else, or anything else in the meantime, or is it just kind of idle chit chat you're making? Yeah.
I'm just gonna close the sack back up and
Yeah, if there's a
hum to myself as well.
if there's a tavern, there's no need to do any hunting, is there?
Nope.
So the hours pass by. It's 2 hours. It's not particularly a long time considering like kind of the journey you've had down from Juneau. And you can see that although you've kind of emerged from this ton of trees, it's more sparse kind of woodland. It looks, you can see, I mean, Ogvar, you can probably see as you're going through, you can see some very obvious to you, perhaps not to anyone else, but you can see tracks where maybe kind of deer have come across, common marks. You can see maybe some scrapings where perhaps the antlers have scraped off, or they've kind of been scraping against the antlers against the bark. And you can just see other kind of various kind of small critter tracks, rabbits. You can see where things have disturbed the leaf litter along the sides of the path, or the road you're travelling on. But other than this, it's fairly peaceful. It's a fairly calm evening, fairly clear. And actually you're getting this really beautiful view from in between the trees, almost where you've got the breaks in the trees. You can see this really beautiful view of an Innistrad sunset. And these sunsets, they're very much kind of very red and bloody hues, oranges. And just as it's starting to really fall into that kind of really kind of dusky stage where you're just starting to struggle to make things out, which are more than kind of 30 foot away from you, you kind of you come over a very small rise and you begin to see ahead of you lights. And the scene which kind of opens up it's probably another 10 minutes on the carriage, not very far away, and you can begin to hear the kind of general noises. If you hear the kind of the repetitive tang of a blacksmith's hammer, and you hear the noise of kind of squabbling and just general merriment kind of floating on the wind. But what you do notice as you kind of drop down and begin to head towards this outpost, the trading outpost, is you begin to kind of feel the kind of cool dankness of the river. And all of you would know that this is one of the kind of where you're approaching, where Solhoff is located. It's almost on a giant, not an estuary. What's the word for it?
Inlet.
Delta. That's the word I'm looking for. It's almost like a giant delta. You know that where Solhoff is, it's accompanied further inland by the Morkrut Marsh, and this is a very the Morkrut Marsh is very well known in Innistrad. It's a very dangerous place. The fog's almost never clear from the marshes, and very few people ever venture into its depths. The people who do tend to be people who are doing good things. And it's actually really commonly known, almost like one of the unspoken things that just everyone knows but nobody ever talks about, is that a lot of people who can't afford to pay for burial, can't afford to be properly buried, don't have good connections with the church, have led a life of sin, people who've generally been kind of assassinated or disposed of. A lot of these people, when they are killed off or die, they are thrown into the marshes. So, the probability of finding bodies in the marshes is really high. So it's actually kind of like almost like a shallow grave. It's a dumping ground for the deceased, which isn't very nice, but a lot of people don't go into this area. But this delta is fed by the river Ospid. And the River Ospid has its source, its lake, just inside the borders of Kessig. And this is a fairly rapidly flowing river down by the training outpost. This is one of the rivers in the delta.
Okay.
So as you kind of drop down, you can hear the sounds of rushing water, and kind of like the general noises, and they all kind of blend in. But you do get this where you've got kind of like just on the horizon, the blood red of the sun just dipping below. You do get it reflected off the water, and you can see that there's various torchlights and braziers lit up, and it's fairly well illuminated, this scene in front of you. You can see that there is one very, very big building. Looks to be thrown together using large chunks of stone as base, and then kind of wooden paneling from the kind of first floor up, really. Very much like the cracked acorn was, but this looks a lot more dilapidated. You can tell, even from this distance, as you're kind of getting closer and closer, that the windows aren't these kind of beautiful stained glass windows. There's nothing really beautiful about this. It's very utilitarian. It's been built for a purpose, and when things break, they are just fixed with whatever's at hand. There's no real care or finesse thrown into it. It's just, oh, we've got a broken window. We could replace glass, but we're going to board it up instead. And you've got this it's a single track road leading in. This big building on the one side, and on the other side you can see the light of a forge. And right down by the river, you can see a very a square tower, and it's probably about 3 stories tall, made of stone, and it's got the banners of Selhoff hanging from its sides. And these banners, they're kind of they're blue-coloured banners, and they've got almost a symbol of kind of like a wolf's head on them. And that is the view in front of you. Okay.
Is it a whole wolf or a wolf's head?
Just a wolf's head, so it's almost this very kind of stylised, tribal looking wolf's head, and it's got its head tilted back as if it's howling towards the moon. Yeah, exactly. Okay. So when your carriages get in there, into this actual outpost, you can see that it is all thrown together. And you can see that by this big building, there's another kind of building behind it, almost towards the river. And you can see there are lots of horses tied up here. There's several carriages, and as you enter on your left, you see what is clearly a blacksmith, and it's got a little sign hanging on like a little wooden outpost with just like a hammer on it, and it's got Tarns written on the sign. And you can see there's a couple of carriages sat outside, and there's a relatively well-built man. Almost you can see working on some of the carriages. You can see he's got a wheel off one of the carriages, and he's just doing some general work on it. And even though it's kind of late in the evening, he's still going. And there doesn't really seem to be much. It's a very busy area. You can see kind of strolling around the edges, occasionally appearing in between the buildings, the occasional guard or two with a lit torch.
Can we see the ferry?
Yes, you can. So directly ahead of you, almost disappearing into like the gloom where the river is, you can see that there is what appears to be a dock, a crudely built wooden dock in front of you.
Like a pontoon type.
Yeah, pontoon. Obviously, it's wide enough and it's sturdy enough for that when the ferry appears, that you can move carriages on and off.
Right, so we can see the dock, but not the actual ferry. So we can't make a call on how
What did you say
robust
the name
it
of the outpost was?
I didn't.
Oh, okay.
We don't know where it is. We've just been led there.
Presumably, as we've actually entered into here. Did we see a signpost? Is there
There
some
was
kind of
no signpost.
nothing at all?
No.
I'm going to turn to Esther. Esther, have you ever been down in this neck of the woods before?
I think I was down here once or twice in my youth, but not in the more recent decades, I have to say. I've stuck with you now.
Have you ever... What is this place called?
Well,
Do you know?
I was taught that its formal name was Ospid Point, but most people don't refer to it as its official name. It's just the outpost or trading outpost. It's not a very well off area. It's just a temporary kind of. It was originally built kind of shanty, I believe, and it's stayed that way ever since.
Oh, okay. Well, it's down to earth.
I mean, it's quite charming in its own crude manner.
Well, I think with the sun going down and all the torchlight and everything, it's actually quite nice.
I get a nice feeling. There's a nice vibe around this area. It seems very calm. Be a bit of a nice respite, I believe.
Ooh, that'd be a welcome change.
Is there many people milling around, or is it quite empty?
Yeah, no, it's actually quite it's slumming really with people. I mean, you can see 3 carriages in tarns, and then there's more carriages. So kind of coming from a point of view, if you're looking straight down towards the docks, you've got on your right hand side there's this big building, which is obviously you can assume is the Wheedling Weasel. You haven't really got close enough to really distinguish any features about it, other than the fact that it looks quite thrown together, quite just roughly repaired. On your left is tarns, and then right by the river is this very well lit. You can see a brazier on top of this outpost. You can see braziers outside of the outpost, and you can see obviously the colours and everything like that. And a couple of guards. You can see a guard stood in the doorway. It's just like an open tower. There's no door to it, but you can just see it's just you can see inside really.
Can we tell that it's a guard outpost?
Oh yeah, you can definitely tell. There's a guard stood in the doorway. There's the colours on it. You can tell that it's very clearly, and it looks a lot more well built. This is obviously something which Selhoff manages. The main city proper manages. They put their guards out there. It's obviously. You can also a rotational duty on the outpost.
So is this a large village or a small town, or
it's not really much of anything.
just a collection of buildings?
Yeah, looking at it, you wouldn't say it's a town. You haven't got things like a general store. You haven't got any housing. There doesn't appear to be any people living here, but you do have this tavern, which is obviously it's busy. I mean, the tavern door is opening and closing. It's loud. It's bawdy, and the kind of people you're seeing kind of emerge on the streets and disappear in between the pools of light. They're very varied. You can see some very kind of young-looking boys. Clad in very kind of thin, drab clothing. You can see some other burlier men who look like they might be escorting carriages. They've got weapons, they've got armour. You've got people who look a bit like Leopold, very finely dressed but not overstated, clearly merchants. And then you get the occasional person who kind of shuffles past with a handkerchief over their nose. Ugh, very prim and proper, just obviously completely out of their depth, but perhaps travelling through.
So it is just like a stop-off point, basically.
Yeah, it is very much just a tavern and a blacksmith for emergencies. It's it's not a proper town. There aren't any defensive properties, but with exception to this guard tower, which you would assume. Well, I think you're from Nephalia, aren't you?
Yes.
You can make me a knowledge. Do you have knowledge Nephalia on your sheet?
I've got knowledge local.
Yeah, okay, roll me knowledge local. The rest of you coming from Gavany and Kessig, you probably wouldn't have much of a knowledge about this place.
No, apparently neither is Elora, because she just rolled a 4.
Yeah, okay. No. Right, so once your carriages have rolled in, Leopold at the front directs the carriage to round the side of the Wheedling Weasel. And once all your carriages pulled up, obviously Ricky and Jeff follow, and so does Big John. And once all your carriages are being pulled up, you can see that there are multiple carriages in this area. It's almost like they've penned off a yard area where there are just carriages pulled in, posts for the horses to be tied to. And there are a couple of young stable hands, female and male, kind of between the ages of maybe 8 to 15, running around tending to the horses. So Leopold, he jumps down off his carriage, and he's quite short, Leopold is, so you almost see him struggle down, and he lands and he goes, "Whoa. Right then lads, let's get the horses sorted, then we can get some rest."
Okay. Do you want us to try and lend a hand, or are we best to leave it to the people who know what they're doing?
Oh, don't you worry about that, Cuin. The stable hands will take care of everything. You've never been down here, have you?
No.
So this is just the simple stop-off point so we can just wait to get the ferry. Won't be one till morning now. We'll just drop the carriages off. The goods are secured. They've got guards around here. The stable hands are fairly trustworthy. And they'll take care of the horses, they'll get them detached and whatnot. It's all included in the fees and the tolls and everything. So all that's left for us to really do is just leave Ricky and Jeff, and he kind of waves a hand at Ricky and Jeff and gives them the thumb over the shoulder, and they clearly understand what he's indicating here. He says, "Oh well, we'll just head inside and get some grub."
Oh, okay. Lovely. Right, they're all going to sort everything out, so we can go and get some grub if you wish at the Wheedling Weasel.
Well, Laura's going to get down carefully off the carriage this time,
Yep.
off the wagon. She doesn't want another falling over incident, so she climbs down.
Okay.
Okay. I'm going to walk over to Elora and say, "Are you all right?"
I've taken a bit of a battering. I didn't bounce very well when I came off the back of that carriage.
I say, try this. I'm going to put my hand on her head, and I'm going to use
I'll take my
lay
hat.
on hands.
Elora takes her hat off.
I thought you were just going to pat her. there.
Which will give her 6 more hit points.
Yep. Okay.
Oh, thanks, Cuin. I can't wait to get inside. I could really do with just stop being bounced around for a short while.
That should give you.
Says Elora, reaching for another pastry from Orland. She's going to dolefully walk and munch on another pastry because it's still hot.
Okay, so Big John and Ben, they've kind of got off the carriages, and Ricky and Jeff are beginning to unhitch the horses, and you almost see as they start to kind of untack the horses, unhitch them from the carriages, you see almost like a swarm of these children kind of come over. There's like 3 or 4 of them, and they all begin to take the horses, lead them over, and you see one of them running over with a couple of buckets in each hand, like almost like a yoke as well, across the shoulders, a bucket in each hand. An older boy, he looks maybe 14, very well muscled, this is clearly his job, and he's running over with these buckets ready to give the horses water. And so the horses are beginning to be taken care of, but Leopold accompanies you, or he heads in towards the tavern along with Big John and Ben. So I'm assuming you're going to go with him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to shuffle on in there.
Yep. Okay, so getting closer to the Wheedling Weasel, into kind of the front doorway, there is a very crudely drawn weasel on a sign. And when I say crudely drawn, it's like someone's put a sausage with a couple of stick legs and a vaguely cat-like head. It's a really bad drawing.
Oh look, it's a weasel.
If you call it that, it's...
Come on, you're the tracker. You must recognise that as a weasel.
I've never seen one quite like that, so I must admit it.
Rowan, where are you?
I think they might have taken some artistic license with that.
Don't know why you're
Rowan.
calling for Rowan. We're near a pub, he's in it.
Well, I'd like to think you were right, but I don't know where he is at the
You
moment.
hear from your carry case for Rowan, you hear a
Oh, he is with me. What was that, Rowan? What did you say? Yeah.
he isn't saying anything, he's just chirping at you.
He's
He's just chirping at you.
Oh,
He's not asking for a pee or a wee
Yeah,
or anything, he's
that
just
or no.
chirping.
That one needs the
okay.
bathroom.
Glad we cleaned that up. Right.
Never
Yeah.
mind toilet duck, it's toilet back.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna carry on. Now I know where he is. I'm a bit happy.
I feel it's time to sustain the body.
Yep.
Let's get in here, I'm hungry.
So going through the door, a true kind of Wheedling Weasel style, the door opens and then it goes ka-chunk and drops on its hinges and then kind of scrapes the rest of the way in. So you get this lovely as the door opens. And it opens inwards. But getting in there, you can see that it is a very lively bar. Where as you walk ahead, you've almost got this big U-shaped bar in front of you, and you're kind of on one of the sides of the U. And inside this bar, you can see a couple of young women running around. They've got little aprons tied on, long skirts, hair tied back, typical kind of like serving ladies almost. And they're running around behind this bar, and they're sending various kind of pints of alcohol and mead around the place. And you see a door back into the kitchen open sporadically, and one of them runs out with food. And she'll dump this tray of food onto the side, and she'll yell out a number. She'll be like, 14! And you'll hear a kind of like a whoa from table 14 in the corner as their food's arrived and someone goes up to collect it. So just from walking in, you can see very much it's almost like a Nando's.
So much for good food.
The meals that are going out as one of this big burly bloke walks off past you with a tray, the food that's coming out, it does look, to be fair, really quite nice.
Like chicken.
That must have been chicken.
Yeah, it's very plain food. It's potatoes, chicken, maybe some beans. It's plain, but it looks wholesome. It looks really well cooked. It looks really well done.
And is it plentiful?
Yeah, the plates are overflowing. It's very clear that you're paying for good food here. It's going to fill you up. They serve a very particular clientele, and that's mainly kind of mercenaries, fighters, and merchants. People who do hard work, tossing things around all day. That's the kind of people they're serving, so they're serving big hearty meals to go alongside that.
Are we going to let Cuin eat beans?
They're green beans.
Ah, okay.
But this is a buzzing. It's a buzzing room. The floorboards. You can see the floorboards where you're walking. The floorboards are creaking dreadfully underfoot. They're slightly uneven in some places. You see more than one bloke trip over and nearly drop his ale on the floor. And these wooden benches, they're more like picnic benches. These tables. So you haven't got proper chairs or anything, but they are like picnic benches. And it's a fairly buzzing room. It's well lit. It's quite warm. There's a big hearth in the far side of the tavern. Past the big U-shaped bar, there's a big hearth which has got logs crackling away merrily in there. And you can see obviously all these people. There are some more kind of uptight people perhaps in the corners of the room. But it's mainly full of these fighter types, big kind of heavy scarred guys, the occasional woman who's carrying a big sword and looks twice as mean as the blokes. And of these more kind of merchant types, you can see a couple of tables where there's perhaps a more generous merchant who's sat at the head of the table. He's pulled up a stool from the bar, and he's treating his workmen to a drink and laughing along merrily with them. It's a very vibrant atmosphere. You do have in the one corner there is Ye Olde Bard playing away on the lute or the flute, whichever one picks your fancy. But yeah, it's a really buzzing, vibrant atmosphere, and there's lots of noise. There's lots of there's a whole cacophony of various different noises. It's just really kind of a warm, welcoming atmosphere.
Well, we need a table for 10, don't we?
Yep, nearest one will do for me. I really need to sit down.
Do we think it's table service, or do we wait for the maitre d'?
I think you might go hungry if you do that.
Right, well, let's find the nearest table that fit 10 then.
Well, just pull a couple together. Pull the benches together. They'll run on, won't they? They're like benches.
Okay.
Right, lads, you've been here more than us. What do you recommend?
Well, I wouldn't recommend spilling anyone's ale. That's the best way to start a bar fight.
Don't tell Cuin that.
Why, have you been in a few?
Yeah, look at me. I'm not exactly a looker. I've had my fair share of bar fights.
Oh, entertaining.
Yeah, just perhaps not when we're on the job, because I might get my pay docked like last time.
I assume this is Ricky, is it?
It's Ricky.
Yeah.
It's going to be one of the two. They sound basically the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's. I mean, people are constantly moving around, changing tables, but you can find a spare table, and it's it's not difficult that Ricky will go over and go, "Hey lads, there's only two of you. You mind if we could have that table?" And these two guys on the table, oh, okay, and they disappear off, and Ricky and Jeff begin pulling this table over, and you get this as the table screeches across the floorboards and hits various different boards which are partially pulled up. But they pull the table across, and you've now got a table which is big enough for 10.
Right, who's going to the bar? Because we need to get a menu and a wine list for Esther.
Wine list for Esther.
Do they even serve wine around here?
Well, we'll ask.
One way to find out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I'm not fussy. Any alcohol will do, as long as it's alcoholic and,
There's more to you than meets the eye, isn't there, Esther?
always.
I like that.
Okay, so is there someone going up to the bar, or...
Elora's just parked because she's like slumped straight down on the seat because she's just aching.
Yeah, Ogvar will go over then. We'll walk up to
And she's eaten too many pastries.
the bar. And, hello there.
Hello!
We just sat over there on the two tables we pushed together. I was wondering if we could have some indication of what is available for food and beverages.
Oh, righty then. She leans beneath the counter. We can assume it's under the counter. And she pulls it and goes, oh, how many you got there?
10, I believe.
3 menus will do. So she pulls out 3 almost... They look like someone's had a go at making a very fancy clipboard, but what they've actually done is they've taken a plank of wood and nailed a piece of paper into it. So she hands you across these 3 boards, and on it you can see you've got these pieces of paper which have clearly got menus on. She goes, right, is it your first time here, is it?
Oh, yes, for some of us, but some of us have been here before, I do believe.
Oh, well, for those of you who are new here, this is, welcome to the Wheedling Weasel. So, here's your menus. If you come back when you've decided what you want, bring us your table number or table numbers. And when you put your order in, we'll give you a shout when it's done and you come up and collect it, right?
Okay, that sounds good. Thank you.
She hands you across menus and she kind of wipes her hands on like a little kind of tea towel almost she's got hanging off her belt. She goes, right, well, yeah, pop up when you're ready to order. And with that, she's gone. She's off serving someone else. And
Okay, bye!
Okay.
So, yeah, I will take the menus back to everyone on the table and sort of just dish them out. Say, here, these are the menus. They only gave us 3, so share.
Okay.
But Ogvar, pretty girl at the bar, I assume you've already negotiated us a discount.
No, not quite so much. She's quite in a rush to tend to other business.
We could barter with some pastries. They're still hot too.
I don't know.
It says here on the menu they do a mushroom risotto, that's your kind of thing.
No.
Dear.
So the 3 main meals that appear on the menu. There are some other things like a mushroom risotto.
No.
And there are some other simpler dishes. There's things like sandwich. It doesn't explain what's in the sandwich. It just says sandwich. Right, so just an unidentified sandwich there. But the 3 main meals which appear on the menu are chicken drumsticks, chicken breast, or butterfly chicken.
Or chicken surprise. Surprise is a little chicken.
Right by the side of them, they appear to be marked, which you think maybe look like chilies, but you're not sure. And there's varying. They have different prices on them. So the different prices of the menu. For the chicken drumsticks, there's a cost of 5 silver pieces for a plate of chicken drumsticks, 7 silver pieces for chicken breast, and 6 silver pieces for the butterfly chicken. And all of them come with potatoes and a couple of vegetables, carrots. It just says seasonal veg. And there's also on the menu, you have your standard you have your drinks. There's ale, or there's mead, and they both cost 4 copper pieces for a mug. Or you can get the option, which is the bottomless ale.
Excellent.
And that is 1 gold piece per person. Or 1 gold piece per mug. Is it wrong? Sorry, no. 4 silver. Sorry, that's
What was that?
horrifically expensive.
yeah. I was going to say that.
You
That's
drink
a bit
yourself to
expensive.
oblivion.
What was that? Sorry, the bottomless ale was what?
The bottomless ale is 4 silver pieces per person.
Otherwise you'd have to drink 400 of them.
Yeah, and the bottomless mug is 1 gold piece.
No, it's 4
No,
then. 4
bottomless
silver.
is 4 silver.
Go down to 4
right.
silver.
If it's 1 gold, you're going to be drinking a lot of alcohol.
On the basis it was 4 copper pieces for
Oh, right.
for a pint.
Yeah. There are also some other kind of basic items.
You'd have to.
You've got your bread, you've got your kind of cheese, yeah, you've got some of the basic meals, some kind of like very dirt cheap kind of takeaway meals almost.
I'm
Is it
looking forward to the
iron bread
40-pint challenge to earn back my 1 gold piece.
Is it iron bread again?
No, it just says bread.
Bready bread.
You know, if you want that bread, you need to go east of here.
Right, so Ogvar,
So
after much
sorry.
deliberation, I've decided I'd like the chicken.
Yeah. Yes, yes, sir. I've had a quick scan of the menu and I would concur.
So yeah, chicken. Anybody else want the chicken?
Yeah, but which chicken?
Don't
Are
get-
you a breast, a leg, or a bit of a butterfly?
Oh, I like a breast.
Was that Ricky or was that Jeff?
It was Ricky. They then start an argument about which is better, breasts or legs.
I'm more of a butterfly man myself.
Well, after the firefly incident, I don't fancy anything with wings. So, I'll go with the chicken breast, and I'll have a bottomless ale. That's what I'm going to have.
I think I'm going to go with a mead with mine. I'm feeling, I don't know, slightly frisky.
I should say, sorry, the bottomless is bottomless ale or mead, you choose which.
Yeah, okay. Right, even so, I don't think I need a bottomless glass tonight. I assume we're back at work again tomorrow morning.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. I shall have a few, but not too many. Don't like boats particularly.
Oh yes, we've got to cross the river in the morning as well. Yeah, definitely.
I mean, basically,
Yeah, no hangover.
to make it worth it, you've got to have 10 pints.
So, Ogvar just sort of looks across to Elora.
There's the challenge, Elora.
Oh, well, you know, Rowan, I'm sure he'll participate.
He probably already has.
Well, he'll soak it all up.
How about you, Esther? What are you going to have?
Somebody can share mine.
Am I right? You don't like chicken?
Fortunately, I do.
She's vegan.
Oh, well, I think I'll have the butterfly chicken. It sounds, colourful.
Yeah.
Are you going to catch that in your net?
Yes, I'll.
Well, I don't know if I can catch a chicken, but I'll have a go at a butterfly.
Right.
While you're up at the bar ordering, Ogvar, can you find out if they do a decent breakfast and on what time we need to be up to make the ferry?
Okay, I should. I need to. Am I ordering? Am I ordering for everyone or Ricky, Jeff, and?
We're going to treat the lads?
Yeah, I suppose we can. They've been all right with us.
Oh, don't you worry about that, lads. It's very kind of you to offer, but I've hired them. I've got their meals covered. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, okay, no problem.
In fact, you know what? Why not commemorate our meeting? Because you're really nice, you lot, and you've done a lot. You've been very busy. You've looked after our carriages well. You know what? Dinner's on me tonight.
Oh, that's all you can do. Thank you.
Well, I'll downgrade my bottomless ale to just a mug of ale, I think. Thank you.
In which case, I'll have its leg, its breast, and its butterflies.
Yeah,
I never know which part of a chicken a butterflies is.
I take it we're not going to roleplay this one all the way out.
No. So Leopold begins gathering orders from around the table. So just tell me what you're having.
I'm having a butterfly
Yep.
with a mead.
Okay, butterfly and mead.
I'm on the same.
Butterfly mead.
Breast with ale, please.
Breast with ale.
And same as Ogvar, yeah.
And Esther's going for a butterfly with mead as well. So he goes around the table, he gets you orders, he breaks up Jeff and Ricky, who've now kind of got into a bit of a pinching, elbowing war between breast and legs. Gets their orders, and he kind of shuffles himself off, and he goes up to the bar. He puts the order in, you see him kind of chatting to the young lady behind the bar, and Leopold's quite short, so he's got his elbows up on the bar, but they're kind of the same level as his ears. So he's kind of like, yeah, talking up to this woman, and the order comes out, and it's not long. He returns to the table, and perhaps maybe 15 minutes go by. You're having this kind of, I'm assuming you're going to be having a conversation, just talking about generic topics. I'm assuming the journey down.
Yeah.
Anything in particular you want to have a quick chat about, or anything you want to talk about over the meal?
So I'm going
Yeah.
to ask the... Oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'll tell you what, mine might take a little bit longer, so you go ahead first.
So, Leopold, have they always had a guard tower here? Because that looked quite a new construction.
Yeah, they've this place has been around for about 40 or 50 years now. It's actually quite old, considering, you know, the rate of things that change around here and everything that goes on. But no, this place, it didn't start out with a guard tower. It used to be privately owned, if you could believe. But you know, things getting into sell-off, people started complaining because of, you know, the money to get on the ferry. It was run by this old miserable bastard, and, you know, he kept on charging loads of money for it, you know. When my dad was, you know, running the carriage routes that I did, because I took over the family business, you know, he always used to come back grumbling about, you know, the cost of getting over here, and was it even worth it? But, you know, so, you know, eventually they did something about it. The big wigs up in the city, they did something about it, and I'm not exactly sure what went on behind the scenes, you know, it's always a bit like that around these parts, cloak and dagger and all that kind of, you know. But it eventually became part of Selhoff, this outpost did.
So it's a state-run ferry?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, there's still someone profiting off of it, but it's essentially state-run. But what they did is they just kind of took over the area. Did we ever hear back from that old miserable bastard? They either paid him off or did him in, I'm not sure which. Either way, he's not in the picture anymore. But then a couple of years, about maybe 40 years ago, so not long actually, probably about 10 years after this place kind of first cropped up really, they put the guard tower in and they maintain it really well. Because, you know, there's no defences around this place, and obviously they can't allocate enough of the budget to really maintain any walls around here, so a guard tower it is, but they look after it.
And what sort of ferry is it? Is it a chain ferry or is some poor bugger rowing it?
No, it's a chain ferry.
Okay, and what time we got to get up to get on this ferry?
It depends, obviously, varying on the tides, but there'll usually be the way it works is you stay overnight, expect to get woken up in the morning by a big klaxon when the ferry is starting to come over.
Brilliant. Right, so I'm listening out for a big klaxon.
Yeah, you won't miss it. It's on the roof of this place actually. There's a big klaxon, and when the ferry starts coming over, they'll just sound it off, and you know this place will wake up.
Brilliant. Is it worth having breakfast?
Oh yeah, so they'll put the klaxon up as soon as the ferry kind of due to set off.
Outstanding.
So there's
right.
enough time to, you know, get everyone up and breakfast and sorted.
In which case, Elora, you're probably all right. You bottomless ale. You're going to get a loud
Oh no, I've
klaxon.
downgraded it because I'm not paying for it, you know.
All right.
So.
And then I kind of actually having a conversation, you hear a voice say, 5, 6! And Leopold, oh, that's us. You know what? Big John, can you? And Big John gets up and he goes over and he starts bringing back trays of food. And you all served up your food, courtesy of Big John. And they are these absolutely lovely meals. You can tell these are kind of served on rough-hewn wooden plates. But they are full plates of food, and when you order the chicken drumsticks, you're not getting 1 or 2, you're getting 4. And the chicken breast and then the butterfly chicken, it's all served up, you know, very large, generous portions with sides of potato sprinkled with salt and some green beans. And you can tell just from looking at it, they basically waste no chicken at all. Everything from the chicken is used. And you also served up, obviously, your drinks in front of you. In fact, your drinks would have been served up at the bar at the time, so they'd have been ferried across by Leopold and probably one of the others at the time. Okay, so you all begin to tuck into your dinner, I assume, and Elora.
Look, this is something that Elora would talk to her companions about when they are left alone at the table.
Okay.
It's a private conversation.
Okay. So are there any other kind of topics that anybody wants to delve into, or do you want to carry on talking over your dinner?
Ogvar will turn to Leopold. Thank you very much for paying for the food tonight and the refreshments. Very, very good of you, Leopold.
Oh, no worries. It's the least I could do, you know. Fine for what goes. We don't really have much of a stock, really, because all the specialist stuff comes from there. So, you know, you've done a service to them, you've done a service to us. You know, it's not very often you find decent types around here, so, yeah, more than happy to afford a good meal for a friend.
Thank you very much. While we're on the subject, I was wondering if you could enlighten us into what lies ahead tomorrow, journey-wise, distance and
Yeah, so...
terrain to expect.
So what I'll probably do later on in the evening is I'll head over to Ferrymaster, get sorted a booking on the ferry. It should be fine. Looking at the number of carriages we've got here today, we'll be fine. There'll be enough room on the ferry. It's quite big. But when the klaxon goes, that means the ferry's setting off from the other side. We'll all get down here. Well, I'm assuming you'll get down here fairly toot sweet. Get some food in us. They serve a pretty nice breakfast round here. And then we'll head off, get the carriages ready, get the horses ready. We've already got all our goods packed, so we don't need to pack anything. Give a bit of a tip to the lads and ladies outside, and then we'll get queued up and get ready to go on the ferry. So what they do is we get tickets with numbers on, they'll call the numbers and we'll get loaded up in order number, stop there being a queue or anything going wrong or anything. Get on there, secure the wagons. They usually give us chocks just to chock the wagons slightly, keep them stable, keep them safe. And then we'll begin going across. And we'll get to the other side, offload, and then we can, maybe 2 hours into Selhoff.
Not too far away at all then.
No, there's another trading outpost on the other side of the river, obviously a matching pair to this one. Different tavern name over there. Did used to be called the Wheezing Weasel 2 at one point, but it got bought out. So it's changed hands a bit over there. But put off board there, and then we can head off over to Selhoff.
Okay, so sounds a very good plan.
Yeah, it's a bit smaller on the other side. I mean, not many people tend to stay over because Selhoff's only an hour or two away, so people tend to get up early. But if you need to stop for refreshments or anything like that, there is a place over there. But most people don't use it. It's quite small.
Okay, that's answered my question. Thank you very much. I much appreciate that.
No worries. Anything else you want to know? Just ask away.
No, well, thank you very much for the food and your hospitality.
He gives you this kind of like half bow, almost waves his kind of hand in the air, and
Laura will tip her hat to him, kind of thing. She's going to rise from the table and she'll say, I hope you don't mind, but I have some business with my companions and we're just going to retire and we'll leave you guys to your evening. We're in each other's company, if that's all right with you.
Not to worry at all. Lady like you needs a beauty sleep.
Oh. Well, I do after today.
Oh, don't take that as a... Oh, I didn't mean to offend.
No, it's fine.
I thought we
Don't
were
worry
getting
about
up early in the morning.
it. Laura's just going to shake her head, roll her eyes, and she's going to turn around and she's going to find a free table in a corner somewhere.
Yep. I mean, people are moving off and moving around fairly often, so it is possible to find a free table, but obviously people are buzzing around and constantly moving. So yeah.
Before we move away from the drinks, do you want to check if you've still got your bat?
I've gone. I've already gone. I've gone to find another table, hoping that everybody else will take the queue at some point and then drop in and join me.
It appears that we're moving tables.
Would appear so.
Come on then.
Never argue with a bruised lady.
Right, yeah,
So we're all following you?
Across, yeah.
Yep. Esther will...
I've taken a drink with me, of course.
Esther stays a little longer than the rest of you. She's finishing off a conversation with Leopold and just having just finishing off being polite conversationalist. And she reappears a couple of minutes later with a couple more drinks in hand for each of you and herself. She sits down at the table. She goes, "Oh well, what are we talking about then?"
Why have we come over here then?
Right, guys.
She reaches into her pocket and she pulls out a mildly drunk but annoyed-looking bat.
Oh.
He's a little bit woozy, you could say. She goes, "Here's a little blighter."
Oh. Well, thank you very much. I'm going to take him off her and just lift the top of the pouch and drop him back in.
You hear a thunk as he falls straight through the bottom.
I'm so glad
Laura's going to look down and think, oh, bugger, I forgot I had that bag redone. So I'm going to lean down, pick him back up, and I'm going to lay him on the side of the table, just leave him there for a bit.
Yeah, okay.
Right, okay, guys, talking of bags, Orland, my friend, are you alright?
Yeah, good.
Right. we've put various items into Orland, but we've been travelling around and we kind of forget we put stuff in there. So I just want to take an inventory and see if any of this is actually worth carrying rather than leaving in Orland, because some of it might be useful if we get into a tight spot. And if I've got it and somebody else needs it, well, it doesn't kind of do for just one person to carry it all about, does it really?
I've not been with you that long.
No,
If you empty out Orland, have we got enough room on this table?
Well, there's a few bits. Orland is very, very capable.
Yeah, better not get any crumbs on me.
Yeah, I mean, you've got half a bakery in there for a
I've
start.
eaten some of that.
Most of it.
Oh, thanks. There's my inventory, you see.
That's a good point, actually. Does Orland keep an inventory? Can you just tell us what's in him?
No,
No, I don't keep an inventory. I can't write, can I? I ain't got a checklist in here.
No, well, you're quite bright. I thought you might remember.
What do you mean quite bright? I am bright.
Well, then why don't you remember?
I feel neither the need nor the want.
Fair enough. Okay. We'll leave Elora making a list.
And
then.
he kind of, you see where he's kind of hanging down Elora's side. You see his two leather straps kind of up in the air in almost like an aggressive bag manoeuvre.
Right. Well, we've got various things, right? I know what's in Orland because I know what I put in there. Okay, we've got some potions in here, guys. Cadeaux, you obviously have been with us a short while now, and you wouldn't know what we have, but this is our little stash that we put away for a rainy day, shall we say. And seeing as this is Innistrad, we get quite a few of those. We've got a potion of endure elements. I was going to say elephants then. Endure
Well, they're nasty buggers, an elephant.
A potion of endure elements. Does anybody? I mean, that's one we can leave in Orland because that's kind of if we need that, we can go to him for that one. So I suggest we leave that there. We've got a flask of ghost oil, but we don't know what it does. So I would suggest until we get it identified, that also stays in there.
Sounds like it greases up a ghost.
Yeah, I would.
That's a terrifying concept, a slippery ghost.
Woo.
Does that mean they phase through walls extra smoothly?
Who knows? Do they leave a mark on the wall when they go?
Ooh.
Like when people oil their hair and it ruins your sofa.
Ooh. That's quite horrible. Is that why people, when they have wallpaper, do they get those weird marks? Do you think that's why?
Yeah, it could be. I always used to think it was rising damp, but perhaps it isn't.
Moving on. We've got a vial of clear breath. Now we do know what that does. It temporarily dulls the sense of smell when someone inhales the contents through their nose. Does anybody fancy carrying that?
Well, I'm used to smells, so, the old armour. So, probably better for somebody else.
I can't imagine an immediate use for that.
No, might as well leave it in Orland.
I mean, it would have been useful with the troll, I suppose.
Well, yeah, that's what I mean. We forget
definitely.
these things are in there, but I think it's important to remind everyone that we've got them. Okay, right, fine. We'll leave that there as well. We've got.
Are you keeping a mental note of all this Orland for us?
No, I'm keeping a note of this.
Yes.
Orland's
No,
just.
I'm trying to talk the bag into keeping a list.
You will not fool me that easily. I'm not doing your work for you.
Well, you're doing the carrying.
You need to grow up and take some responsibility.
We've got a potion of Eagle Splendour.
So it's the 400-year-old bag.
You become more poised, articulate, and forceful, and it gives you a bonus to charisma. Sorcerers and bards don't get any bonus spells for increased charisma, but save DCs whilst under the influence do increase.
Sounds like you're reading out of a book, Elora.
You're right.
My, what an accurate description.
I've become quite accustomed to this sort of thing. So we've got a potion of Eagle Splendour. We've got a.
Oh, it truly sounds like an arms and equipment's guide.
It just so happens. We've got a potion of Dark Vision. So if anybody hasn't got, is anybody here can't see very well in the dark?
Well, they're all about the same, I think.
I mean, humans don't tend to really see well in the dark, do they?
Oh, I don't know. Some people might have better vision than others. I don't know.
You know, as my uncle always said, eat your carrots.
Pickle sees quite well in the dark.
Right, we've got a potion of bull strength.
Do we know how long these things last for?
Oh,
3 rounds.
yeah.
3 rounds of what?
3 rounds of mail.
I'm giving up. I'm giving up. That's hopeless. You are hopeless. Right, well, I'll just keep these and use them all myself then. There you go. Done.
You're right, Spencer.
We're done.
I've inhaled biscuit.
So, you then spend some time giving up what's inside Orland, sorting it out between yourselves. What are you then doing after that?
Nothing.
Bed.
Ed.
Good.
Okay. So,
she's got to sober up her back.
So, as you're kind of wrapping up your conversation, it's very obvious that you're wrapping up your conversation. Leopold comes over and goes, "Alright, hope I'm not interrupting anything. Booked rooms have been booked, so all you need to do when you go upstairs is just go upstairs, pick yourself out of bed. You know, we've got a couple of floors, first floor, second floor, whichever floor you want. It's pretty much open dormitory affair, so just pick a bed, settle yourself down. There should be a little lockbox chest at the bottom of your bed to put some stuff in. Bathrooms on each floor, so, you know, very simple."
Oh, okay, that's very decent of you. Yes, I think I'll might as well head up, you know.
It's been a long day.
Yes.
It's been a long day.
Well, we can all be up nice and fresh in the morning.
Is the klaxon loud enough to wake us all up, Leopold?
Oh yeah, trust me, it is.
Oh, great.
Do you say they're dormitories?
Yeah, they're kind of dormitory style affair, yeah.
So actually there's multiple beds in.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, no problem. Yep, Ogvar will go upstairs and just find the nearest bed to him and doesn't even bother taking his boots off, just gets in bed.
Yeah. So when you get up there, you can see that there's like both sides of the rooms, and you've got a central corridor with multiple rooms coming off each side. And inside these rooms, there are obviously the walls are lined with beds, and in some of the rooms you've got bunk bed type affairs. But they've all got kind of like a little lockbox chest at the bottom, and the beds have got numbers on them, etc., etc. The chests corresponding numbers. So yeah, it's fairly easy to find an open bed. There's quite a few of them. I guess you're all going to settle in for the night.
Yes.
Yeah, head down time.
It was drawing dark as the entourage arrived at the Ospid Point outpost. After alighting the wagons, it was all into the Wheedling Weasel, where Leopold light-heartedly and generously purchased the perfect meal of chicken for everyone to chow down on. During the quiet conversation that followed, questions were asked and a lot of lore of the land was learned, leaving our weary travellers ready to divide up into the dormitories for some decent downtime.
Thank you for listening to our podcast. Having you as a listener means everything to us. So, whichever streaming service you choose to listen to us with, please give us a like, subscribe and follow. We would love for you to join us on our Facebook or Twitter page, where you can catch up with all of our latest news. While you're waiting for the next episode of Secrets of the Silver City, why not pop over to our website, where you can read all of the information about this campaign, from backstories to setting. All of the links are in the bio of this episode. Join us again next week for the next instalment. Thank you for listening.